All right, guys, here to talk about episode 6, season 9 of The Walking Dead. All right, so we are now in the flash forward that we have had teased in the last episode.
Yeah.
We met our new characters.
Yeah.
And some interesting things have happened.
No, I'll say overall, like, I had gotten into a rhythm with this show of just being like, you know, it was literally like, let's go investigate the train wreck. And it was just every week, you know, it was just like when you get more news reports, they've discovered more bodies. The missing has now been upgraded to dead, and it was just this horrible train wreck of like a whole slow like season or whatever. And now things have definitely changed.
I like the jump forward. I think it does. It lets you ignore some bad things and just breeze over. It does seem like the first 5 episodes were them just kind of like putting the cap on and stamping like for this move forward.
Exactly. Which in retrospect, like you can, I definitely felt them, you know, cleaning up and you know, moving things or whatever, killing off people and ignoring people and changing stuff or whatever. But now this, as the culmination of all that, right, makes it make sense, and you can do, you know, you can do stuff. You can be like, yeah, Negan's voice is fine. It's fine. Time's gone by. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Different stuff. And like
we got some Negan back to normal in
we
this.
did, yes.
Who actually like, you know, kind of like the lovable scamp Negan now.
Yeah. Where it's just like an Andy Mayberry, he's in the jail, and they just go talk to him.
Yeah.
Weird thing like that. This mass murderer, all that stuff.
Because Matt doesn't care if you're good or bad or whatever she says.
But that, so like a little pretentious, perhaps. There's a bit of that or whatever. But I like that. The show used to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's this nice little thing where they compare, because it's like pragmatism versus theoretical knowledge, and then she loops it back around on him, and now you see that she's clever little
she's
ass
good.
kicker. Yeah, it's nice. Okay.
I like her.
I'm okay with it. There's various implications of this time jump that I had not considered last week, though.
Okay.
Where we get to ditch, like, young actor Henry. We can just ditch him and get a new actor to play Henry, right? There's stuff like that where you can just be like, oh, no, it's fine. And you can have characters have evolved off camera and just scramble their personalities and change them into whatever you want them to be.
That was my like,
right?
Oh, this is gonna fix things. Like at least what I had walked into optimistically hoping for.
I was gonna say I didn't think that they could fix anything or would, but they definitely seem to have.
No, so, I think that we're entering a new dawn of Walking Dead, and I think that it's gonna be decent from here on
Walking
out.
with the Dead. Yeah, it feels like a new show, and
I remember
it's
that
fresh
rumor again.
Yeah, that rumor about it being like a new writer or something like that or whatever, and like now, like we're still doing some work. We're still like establishing some stuff. But this is
we got to figure out where we are now.
Yeah, but like this is now.
Did we get a concrete how long it's been?
No.
So here was my. I guess it's good. So the baby, Michonne's baby, is like, it's like what, 5, 4?
Right.
So like maybe it's been 6 years.
Young enough that they can jump up and Michonne can like still hold them and all that stuff. Which I don't know when that stops. For me, it was when I was 2.
It might be different for like, you know, for all children. And in the apocalypse, you might not be getting the nutrition you might necessarily be expecting. Sure. So like the baby might be smaller than average.
Okay.
But who's to say?
No, I was just using that as a way to gauge like how young or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But Henry seems, and again, puberty can hit like a freight train sometimes. So maybe that's normal too, and Judith too. Like, you know, you have to kind of look at certain.
Well, my thought is in the apocalypse, especially you know, a zombie apocalypse, you were gonna breastfeed for as long as humanly possible because it's like a free source of food. And I'm like, how old is that kid? 'Cause I thought they were gonna show that scene. I thought she was gonna do that.
Interesting.
Speaking real quick, when they showed Michonne's back. She had that big cut in her kidney.
It's a weird scar of
like. Is that a sympathy pain from where Rick got stabbed? Like, what is that?
It's a scar in like an X or something like that.
Did she give a kidney to somebody?
Did she donate a kidney
to
someone?
I know.
And who knows?
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yes.
I think Rick may have come back in that 7 years, and we might have actually lost Rick during that time.
Ooh, that's interesting. What makes you think that?
Well, Rick got stabbed in the kidney. So my thought is she may have given him a kidney, and since he's not around, he's dead.
Of course, sure.
Would be my guess.
I don't know if you had any other things besides that scar.
No, just
Yeah. No, so there's something looming over everything, right? We take this opportunity in several separate places to have different characters say stuff like, "Yeah, things are not like they used to be. Yeah, things have changed."
Michonne's got the Rick disease of talking to herself and stuff now. She's not using a phone, but she is talking to herself. I did think for a moment
talking to Rick like you
Rick,
would talk to
and
Lori
it seemed like Carl.
Yeah.
It seemed like she was talking to both.
Yeah.
There was a part where she's like in the woods, and you think they're gonna pan up and you're gonna see like the Rick Grimes Memorial Bridge, but the bridge is just how it was left off, and I was like, they never tried to fix the bridge again,
or they never successfully fixed the bridge.
Yes, well, it looked like it was still post explosion.
Yes,
there's no real difference.
And that was the first part that like heralded the overall and like Zeke at one point says like, if we could bring the communities back together, that would be huge or whatever. So like, it's been years and they've evolved like in isolation, right? And we never get to see Hilltop. So now we get to enjoy that next time because they're headed there, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see maybe Maggie has an eye patch and there's just fire everywhere and now she's this warlord ruling over the Hilltop. I doubt that.
We'll see.
We don't know. Why would they hide the
Hilltop? We learned that Sanctuary
somewhere?
died.
It went bust, right?
That makes sense.
But that's huge because we had characters arguing. Carol, kind of in the middle being like, well, so maybe they will. We have to let them walk their own path or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But on TV, nothing ever happens like that. Someone always saves the day or they show some dramatic thing where it all like explodes or whatever, right? But now we actually get a thing where years later we go, yeah, Hilltop's, Sanctuary is like defunct or whatever. And you just hear about it. It's wonderful.
I bet though we may see some of the characters that were at Sanctuary have in other areas here that they just split up. I don't think everyone would have stayed there to die. I did love Carol's scene. Like Carol had one of the most savage fucking scenes she's had in years.
Yes.
Like probably since her like gun drops out of the sleeve fucking massacre.
Yeah.
This was that shining moment of like I'm an OG bitch like and get some,
which is awesome.
Definitely.
It's like long hair, nightgown Carol waking up with with the king. Jerry's like, our fealty to you, my queen, and she's like, Jerry, shut up, or whatever. And it's this awesome little thing. So you're
like, if it talks like a duck and fucks the king, it's the queen.
And you don't know, has she settled down, like what's happening? Everything from when she, jumps off the wagon and shows up with the bow and arrow. That's that trailer shot of long-haired Carol with the bow and arrow and all that stuff. Everything throughout that whole thing, how she handles all the people, how she handles Henry, how she slinks away, how she burns them all alive. A little unrealistic for her to burn them all alive like that, but whatever.
A little bit. Like, no one woke up being wet. The not having a plan other than grabbing the match from the guy's mouth to light as the fire source.
Yeah, seemed very whatever.
But didn't care because it was so badass. I just wrote out, I'm like, yep, that's what Carol would do. Carol's a fucking boss.
And it made me think like, oh, is stuff going to be goofy? How is this all going to whatever? But it was literally just like, yeah, we paid those dudes to come back for one episode. That was another loose end.
Yeah, and it's tied.
And we had to drop his dialogue of like, yeah, after that day, you didn't kill me, so like we're square. But then he has to be a shitlord to like establish like, oh, like the saviors are still in these roving bands of like bandit shitlords or whatever. And like now we know how that's going to go if they run into anybody else or whatever. But so
that might be the last of them though, because possibly, X amount of years on your own, they don't have a community. Then it makes sense people would die.
Oh, I loved zombies pulling the wagon for them or whatever.
Yes.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
now,
eat the horses. Use zombies now.
Finally something. I'm not going to give that a full interesting, but it's definitely more than like the same shit happens every week or whatever.
Well, if we're going to talk about interesting, let's just cut to the end real quick.
Sure.
So aside from the fact that Eugene just doesn't say, "Can you get me the ladder?" and drops and like breaks his knee.
Oh god. That whole thing. So like,
why wouldn't she go up? Like why would she say you come down? They would have been so fucking safe up.
Okay, so that's the other. So the Carol thing, I think, and then the Rosita Eugene plot line thing. Those were the two things where I was like, the show is still a little goofy. I don't know if this is whatever. With the Carol thing, the way that it resolved, where like Henry sees the ring and she goes, "That's right, motherfucker," and I was like, "Oh shit," or whatever.
I don't play.
Yeah, where I was like, and he's like, "Oh." All right, yeah, Mom, let's go over here. I was just like, I was like, that's awesome. On the complete flip side, though, so like, I literally thought, we're gonna do Tremors now. Like,
they'll be trapped up there.
Like she's gonna have to go up there, and on the ride up, he's like, I know there are that like priests with limited depth perception are in short supply in the apocalypse, but there are other suitable suitors you might be interested in.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh god, motherfucker, what are you talking about? And that whole thing. So I thought like, oh, they're gonna be trapped if they're together. He's gonna like profess his love. They're gonna like, well, wait for the zombies forever. We're gonna have like a montage of like it's like the moon and all that stuff, and they're still talking. And she's like, listen, you don't understand. And then we get some backfill of like the last few years.
Yes.
And what's going on. She
no.
fucking explains what's happening with the, but no, we do. It's the exact opposite. Instead, they escape the Shire and they hide from the dark whatever. Like it was they're hiding in mud, which was never established as like a thing you could do for walkers.
I think
or
just
whatever.
anything to hide your scent a little bit.
Sure.
So I flipped my opinion completely about some shit. So I was like,
just like they flipped the dialogue.
I'm like. In the next 3 episodes of Walking Dead, they showed like a part of this, and I'm like, holy shit! Well, like evolution in the last whatever, that's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
But now you heard 2 talk, and the way the first one sounded was like, oh, that's like some White Walker shit. But the second one just sounded like a person, like making a grumbly voice.
Okay.
So I'm thinking it is people doing the old like season 2 trick of covering themselves in zombie bullshit and just like walking with zombies.
Oh.
So like that second voice. So the first one was like, kind of like Cobra Commander when he's turning into a snake.
What's the matter?
But the second guy was like, I don't know, or like whatever he said, and it sounded too much like a person.
Okay, I like that theory. I don't think that's it at all, though.
What do you think? You think it is evolution?
I think the zombies are just talk. So like here, okay, so like in the like trailer for last time.
Yes.
Someone says, what do they say? Where are they? Or something like that? Where are they?
Where are they? And then it cuts to Eugene like all shocked. And the second one says something like, we must find them, or we have to like locate them,
I
or
wrote
something.
it down in this episode.
It was whatever the wording and how the voice articulated the second sentence sounded too human to me.
I feel like you're giving them too much credit. I believe he says, you let them get away.
Something. It was something where it was like, that's too much of a thought. It wasn't enough of
you let them get away. Yeah.
And it sounded like you just saying it. Like it didn't sound.
Let them get away.
It didn't sound enough like my vocal cord has been fucked forever.
Okay, but that means that. So what? Let me dive into your theory.
And enough of the zombies. So like I was staring, trying to see if I could detect something.
Yeah.
Enough of them are kind of just like head down, like almost like a mask, but it was like black hair. But maybe I don't know, like and so maybe I'm reading too much into it, or not enough. But
they show an overhead shot, and I did notice that heads were down, and I didn't know how to interpret that, so there could be something up there. But are you suggesting that the conversation was between 2 humans?
2 humans.
Okay, so like even the one that sounded like it could
I just
be a
think
zombie.
that one's a better actor.
Okay.
Than the other one.
At being, so you think that they're able to fake talking in front of zombies using a gargly voice?
I think
that would be more interesting than what I suspect they're doing. But yeah.
I don't think there's enough time for evolution to have happened.
No, well,
it doesn't seem possible.
It wouldn't be evolution because evolution requires like generations and like traits to be selected for. They're just using the word evolution to mean that like they are smarter now, which you could explain with other means.
I can't explain it. I'm going with my gut here on.
I hesitate to jump onto that because I don't like. I feel like that's much more explainable as a like production. Foible or something like that.
So you think it's an error, not a...
It didn't trigger anything for me. I just thought like, well, they want us to hear what that one's saying more than the other one. Like, I literally and like you never know, right? So like, who knows if they're planting something?
We might not know until next. Like I could see them
next year.
I could see them. Yeah, I could see them carry it like where you won't get a definitive answer on anything until after the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Like it would come back with that, or maybe it would end with a thing. My theory though did lose so I was like,
yeah.
I thought that we were gonna get more from the before Carol burned those people, I was like, okay, so we're gonna have these roaming bands of whatever. It's gonna be blah blah blah. But then I was like, there was not more of that. Like those were dead, and I don't know there's gonna be any more saviors out there. So I think whatever the enemy of the season, if it is evolution or whatever, it is gonna be something we don't know yet.
Okay.
That's my thought, especially with like them wrapping up and starting over. It's like it makes sense to have a brand new thing, and the way they're humanizing Negan, there's gonna be something where he has to save Judith at some point.
Yes,
has to.
Oh God, are they gonna be attacked and he's gonna be like whatever? I like that he's cleaned up. He's like changed. And
I
stuff
don't
like
know that I like the buzz cut, but
well, I don't like it,
okay.
but I like that. So like he was like a mountain man. Like,
yes,
disgusting.
No, it's 100% better than the last
he was
episode.
Crying. He pissed himself. He was crawling on the ground.
Himself?
I made that up.
Okay.
And he's just like, please kill me. I'm shit. I'm nothing. And now he's like, have you ever seen a plane? Like he's just like
awesome. We didn't get too
again.
good of a look at his body. I would love if they had him with like some trainer for the last like 8 months, like just getting jacked.
Oh.
And like he's been in there just fucking working on himself.
For a second, I thought you meant if the people of Alexandria had him with a trainer.
No.
I'm like, why would they do that? Okay,
no, like
Negan.
Negan has been training for the last whatever.
Yeah,
and I like a scene where he's like just pulling on the bars, and you see muscles rippling, and it's like Van Damme lifting that tub. He's like, and like rips it out and like goes to the window and saves Judith from something.
Yeah, or like the other Van Damme where the kickboxer's slowly kicking
the tree down,
and like you see like the little hole in like where it's shoddily pounded into the cement or whatever. Yeah, Negan's cool.
I like Negan, and I want better things to happen with his character, especially if if he's gonna die.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan's cool enough, right? So
he's very cool.
And now that we've reset, we get a chance for like anything to happen. Okay, to loop back through. So I don't know. I assume Eugene and Ro. He calls her Ro. I'm like, I like that. I don't know if they've used that before, but.
I don't like her and the priest. I think that's weird.
Isn't it?
Because like the priest is getting around, dude. Like
I know. I'm not Catholic.
Yeah.
I should be the little run. No, so like when she's talking to him, I had this little flash of like, are they a thing? Or like in my head, I'm like, that must be awkward in like the apocalypse of like, I keep talking to these strangely hot warriors, and then I'm like, I can't fuck any of them, and then they start kissing, and I'm like, that's amazing. What? This is crazy. So I don't know why they're
in that scenario. Was the priest a strangely hot warrior?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Rosie, it's such a weird. For some reason, it like clicked with me where like I started to think. Every time they showed a character, I thought about where did we last see them, what last happened, or whatever. And as far as he knows, right, he was just knocked out by this chick he was into.
Yeah.
That they and now she's just gone forever.
Time has favored him though. He does seem like he is like the head of the council now. He had the middle seat. Like he does. No. He seems like he's earned that girlfriend.
No, and I like that actor, and I like his delivery, and that you could have like I just
would like if they didn't kill his eye. I don't like the look of that. I thought like he was a
blob.
What are you gonna do?
So. The reason that I'm suspecting that the zombies really are starting to talk is because they're dead. Like I talked many episodes ago about how I'm like interested in them solving the problems of like civilization and all that stuff. And what they've done is they've cut out all this time. So now we are at the point where people are like more established, and like the chaos has like settled down, and there's like separate communities, and they go like parlay and maybe trade or something, but they're not like this weird open like no one's still like deciding like should I go there or should I go there? Well, I was there, but now I have to go back there. Like there's not this weird stupid thing. It's like actual. There's the king and the queen. There's like Michonne and her council, right? And now we get to see like, did Maggie make good on the promise of laws and like having like a council and like whatever they were gonna do?
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be weird there. So something's gonna be very off. It's gonna be very like crappy there. I don't know though.
Like the idea of these people walking amongst a horde and like being at the front of the horde, so you can aim it because like they follow over the front, and then you would aim them at civilization, and then you would pick through their shit and like take their food and whatnot.
You're coming up with all these interesting things.
I think that could be like really cool. I don't
think it's possible for them to do that.
I just don't know how you would be able to loot things appropriately without like being seen as not a zombie.
I don't know what triggers it for them or how that works.
Yeah, because
seems like
when Rick and them covered themselves in guts, they were kind of able to do a lot of normal movement.
And they were talking like, we should go over there, we should do that, whatever.
They did, yeah. They muted talking, yeah.
Yeah. But still, like, the certain people, depending on, like, what they did, they could, like, out themselves.
Yeah, no.
So I'm not sure.
And it's just, it's kind of like dealing with dogs. You have a really friendly dog, all of a sudden it bites you one day, and you're like, fuck, and then you'd be dead because it's a goddamn zombie.
Exactly, right? It seems like very risky, and, like, you'd have to...
It certainly is. But a lot of things we've seen, a lot of weird groups do are risky.
It doesn't have to be realistic either, though, obviously, right? Because in my head, I'm starting to think about it for real, and I'm like, well, if I had to take a leak or something like that, zombies would be like, that's not normal, and, like, attack
you would just piss while you walked.
Yeah. Well, yes, but, like, there's...
Because you couldn't stop walking.
There's all these things, yeah.
Like, that would be the thing, is you have to be in the front of the horde to get them to go places, but then you have to slowly drop to the back of the horde to actually loot whatever you did
and like
lead them to.
Right, and like...
And run the risk of just people shooting you.
And hide when you were sleeping or something like that? I don't know.
Not sure. But again, it's just a theory. It's not a...
It doesn't have to pan out, though. It might be that, and we'll have the same questions as if it was just like a theory. Walking Dead theory.
All right. Are there any other scenes that we've skipped over here? We did jump about.
We did, which is wreaking havoc on my notes. We have new people.
Oh yes, we have a couple of interesting characters here. We have the sisters, and one of them's deaf.
We have Michonne's haircut. We have Eugene's long braid.
Yes,
right. I actually love that, and I'm interjecting a different topic here. Obviously, the hair and Eugene being like a badass and just killing 4 people or whatever. He's had time, and he has a long.
He was the badass. He had the scenes. He killed like 4 zombies, but he did it in such a goofy looking way. Like he didn't look like a man that would be doing that.
He's a goofy bastard, but he can kill people.
I guess.
I can relate. No, I didn't like his character and like where that was going, and the whole, Rosita being like, we're gonna lock you in the basement forever and all that stuff. It's been years. Things were crazy. He's earned his way back in. We have the blonde savior chick. We have Eugene. We have Aaron with like the metal medieval arm. The Army of Darkness arm, basically, which is like funny but great. That's
I want to get more look at that. I want to see him use that and
how that works or whatever.
Yeah, I'm
sure it's like crink and like just pushing zombies away with it or something like that. Which is like that's the kind of dumb that I can get behind in this world. And I can't stress enough how small and dumb it is that people with long hair have like Judith, Rosita, Eugene, all these people. It's all braided. It's all kept like out of the way to be more effective and not get in the way and all. It's so dumb.
Except for Carol.
Yeah, because Carol's a queen. Yes. She doesn't have to worry about these things. And she's so badass.
Although she does go on like solo missions.
Yeah. But I like that touch a lot. I think it's crazy, and it's one of those things where you can instantly go like, oh, something's different, because Eugene has this long, Last of the Mohicans, like giant, braid, braid of hair, basically.
Just to mention back to the beginning of the episode, they're patching up some issues with pipes. Now, what the fuck were they doing there? Like, I want to know what is that? Was that like a steam engine thing?
Yeah,
like, what do they do in there? Is that how they get their power? Or is that just water transfer? Like, what do we got going on here?
I don't know if they have a water purifier or just a pipe system that moves water. It could be for wastewater, or it could be power generation and steam and all that stuff. But I love the idea of like,
because that seemed new to me. I don't remember them ever dealing with that before.
No. And like in like the wide shots, you see the solar panels, you see like the windmill, you see stuff, and things look better. They look organized and real, and I really like that.
Alexandria has like a stream running through the middle of it now that it didn't have before. That had like paddles and stuff on it. And I'm like, did they divert a stream through their like thing? Like, how does that work?
Oh, that thing, that like big roaring thing.
Yeah, because they were like doing sword training.
I was gonna say that's a click in my head. She's doing her like Mr. Miyagi lessons on that bridge. No, that's
like
cool.
A lot of things have changed. Like it's clearly a jump to it. You are like an advanced time,
and you're like allowed to change those things. But I like Henry calling out like, we need help. We need someone qualified to do this. Like, we're doing our best here, but it's being held together with like duct tape. Like, we have to do something or whatever.
Last forever.
Which is awesome. That's awesome. Because you had a bit of that, like again, since like season 2, right? They had like Dale, I think his name was, who could like fix the cars.
Yeah.
And he was like, we need a tube. We need to find a tube from some other car and get this to work. And it's like, is it working? Okay, we got it. Let's go, guys. And like slowly like shambling forward in like society and all that stuff. I like that vibe of like surviving in the apocalypse of like
definitely
making it work.
And they are more than surviving. They're definitely thriving.
Oh
in
no,
many
it's
aspects.
wonderful. They've gotten over the hump, which is when I think things get really interesting. And I think then you need some weird over the top bad guy.
Well,
and they're
you're
sick
now at
of,
a point where you have a lot to lose, and that's what's interesting.
And they're sick of so like I think that they're organized enough to get back to we're jumping a lot here. I think that they're organized enough to fend off random zombie stuff.
Definitely.
So you need to have like intelligent zombies for them to fight or something like that. I would love it if it was some like more to it than that. But I suspect that that's gonna be it.
I picture like the Huns using like biological warfare and we don't fight, we make the zombie fight for us.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be something. Because intelligence, it could be really goofy, but I could like it a lot. I think that they've tried like various baddies, right? Like the governor, and then all the way up through Negan. But Negan being captured, I think, might be like symptomatic of like how that's, and like even like the saviors are in such shambles that they have to resort to trickery, and they kind of win, but then Carol just comes in and like cleans that shit up. So it's kind of like trying to send us the message, I think, that like this is all under control. And so that we can have some crazy.
I picture it the opposite, where it's like everything you knew that was a badass problem.
Yeah.
Oh, we could take care of that, but this is something we're not ready for. Yeah. And helicopters, some shit like that.
I hope that they leave that alone for a while. I don't want more helicopters right now.
I picture the mid-season finale having something with that. Yeah.
We're gonna have to start dropping hints and all that stuff, but. The new people.
Yes. So
Society's now been intercepted. We have rules about this. Don't you know the rules? I know the rules, but we broke the rules. They're here now, though. Let's talk about this. They need medical attention.
We have like 5 new characters. We got one with the head injury. We got one, the former prison lady. We got the music teacher. The sisters. That one is deaf. One is not.
Were they sisters?
I thought they were sisters.
Oh, I thought they were just
I was in high school. She was a DA or something.
Yeah, but I didn't know if that meant that they were related. Regardless. I like the music teacher. I thought they were all good. The prison chick reminded me of the chick from Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yes, very much.
I like that whole business of like you have another knife, you have another knife, and all that stuff. Some good interactions there all around. It was fine. I like them.
I like the music teacher guy. I like him from like other things. I think he will be a decent addition. I think in general, new blood is always good. We're gonna see them, not in our Alexandria camp, but I think assuming this new big bad is coming, we're gonna have all hands on deck to fight.
Well, no, like a great way to like introduce people and to introduce us to this one community, right?
Yeah, they're our exposition characters.
Yeah, so we get to follow Carol and Henry, but then we have these people show up first to Alexandria to have us explain, what's going on there, and then we can go off. So Maggie and Jesus and whoever else, right? I kind of thought that Daryl would be at the hilltop still. But they showed him.
Daryl, I'm sure we'll find out what issues he had, and he's just chilling out in the woods.
That must play into it, but that's the mission now. Is Michonne's like, okay, compromise. I'm not going to put you out on your ass. We're gonna caravan over to Hilltop and beg them to take you in. And I don't know why she thinks Maggie's more likely to take them in, or what's going on there.
I don't know.
I'm very interested.
And potentially Maggie says no, and then they go over to the kingdom. It might be our way of learning where everyone is at slowly.
We kind of learned about the kingdom, though, in the beginning with the pipes and stuff.
Yeah, but not too much.
Yeah.
We learned about things we had never seen before, and not really how things we have seen change.
The kingdom's weird, because we haven't seen that much kingdom, all things considered. There was one episode, which I actually loved, where like Carol's sitting there, and she's like, this is all ridiculous, or whatever,
Yeah.
Where you got like a big tour, and there were like Amish ladies making butter and like textiles happening and all these crazy stick fighting classes and all this big crazy stuff. But I think with the budget and just time over time, it ended up just being like 28 people in like a little crowd. Right, when Zeke comes home and he's limping, and they're all like, King, he's like, fuck off, and goes in the thing. There seemed like it was so small compared to that. So
the scale was not nearly as grand as it was originally painted to be. And even what
they
we
painted
saw
the whole picture, and I'm still high
in
off
this episode was I'm like, okay, there's like trees and planters and stuff. I'm like, what the hell are they doing here? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm like, are those apple trees? Like, why would you ever plant trees? I'm like, I understand aesthetics, but you have so much other shit to worry about.
Yeah. I think we're at that point though when you can start to worry about other things and it's interesting.
That was also I felt like a wide laid out like place that like did they just have a normal fence? Like what was their thing? Like the hilltop is like okay, we have like an old school like what would you even call that type
battlement or something?
Yeah,
it's like a reenactors
and then you have Alexandria has like a traditional
actual
walls. These are big walls. Yeah. But I think the kingdom just has like 5 foot like normal gates and
the kingdom I thought was just like in a lucky location and had a cavalry to like manage stuff or whatever. That was their whole thing. But they also had a thriving women and children section and all this stuff happening.
Yeah, no, it's a whole thing.
I'd like them to be able to show me where they're at more. I'm kind of concerned that they won't be able to. Because even in Alexandria, they're doing the council meeting. They're like grilling the newcomers, and like I'm looking behind them, and I'm like, I don't know any of these people. Who are these people? This is amazing. Yeah. These aren't even the same extras. I think. What are these people? And they probably are. I just don't.
Well, and we know, we don't know exactly at what point they stopped letting in outsiders and had this tribunal thing. Yeah. But we could have gotten a whole bunch of newbies along the way.
It's been years. It's wonderful. Yeah. So I hated the idea of new people, and I was like, my face with your new crap or whatever. But they I think that they knew that, and they kind of earned it, or earned it back, right? Because I can't separate the new people from they jumped, right? We didn't have to sit through like pre-meeting the people, new people sequences. Yeah. We didn't even have to really revisit Judith saving them. They're just out of breath, and they meet up with Aaron and stuff like that. There's barely any more, right? And then we cut directly forward. And I can't separate the new people from learning about how what's happened in the last few years. They wove it together so well that I'm just like, okay, yeah, it all feels good. Which I'm shocked and impressed that they were able to pull it off.
I've been saying I think this is the turning point for The Walking Dead where things are actually going to start to get a little bit better. We suffered through a couple of like rocky seasons here and there, but I think
it's all going to pay off.
I think this could be good.
Right? Then we can
cut post Rick Grimes years might be all right.
And we can go through and create a 4-hour movie out of seasons 6, 7, and 8.
Sure.
So that future generations can just go directly from season 5 to season 9. Just be like, word, right?
Yeah.
Because that's all you would need. You just need to know who gets hit with the bat and who gets cut in the throat. And,
more or less.
And you don't even have to. Oh, you could cut out the entire Junkrat sequence. Oh my God. Sorry.
Depending on where this goes, you might be able to cut out all the...
Depending if they even have her back.
They didn't end up mattering, and they're all dead except for one, so it could cut out pretty flawlessly.
You could have literally
affecting the future.
So you could have literally only had her kidnap Negan, miss the helicopter, and then join the group, right? And nothing would have changed.
Yeah.
You could have skipped. Oh, that's infuriating. I have to stop talking about this right now.
Yeah. Anything else you got?
There was a lot to talk about. I hope that we hit everything. We mentioned Daryl briefly. We saw him spearfishing, and
he lost his fish because of that goddamn zombie.
And Carol runs into them and all that stuff. I want to call out really quick that in that intro, that I think they really spent some time and all that business, because Daryl runs into a walker that's like in a tree somehow.
Yeah.
But then like a bird lands on him, and then he's like chomping and all that stuff, and you see the bird go up into a nest, and it was like dodgy CG. But I was like, oh, this is nice. We're actually seeing things. It's not just like flat medium shots
that guy
of dudes.
fused to a tree.
Yeah, super weird. Interesting, because that used to be like almost weekly. It was like, what interesting, oh, we have barnacle zombies. Oh, we have mossy zombies. Oh, we have burned like fire melted asphalt zombies, right? But okay. So optimistic about the future. Anything else by you?
Nothing jumps to mind. I'm just curious to see, what route we're going to turn out to be these talking zombies actually are. And that's the thing that really has me as to what's going to change how good this season goes. It's the wild card.
Yeah, I can't. So like the alternative actually would be Hilltop. Maggie's the bad guy, right? That could be her way to get off the show in like the next season or two. Because that was the rumor, I think, too. She might leave.
I don't think she'll be a bad guy. She might die, but I don't think she'll be a bad guy.
No, she's a tyrant. She runs Bartertown.
Fist, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm okay with whatever that is, and we'll see. Hopefully next week, assuming that's where they're.
I'm optimistic for the first time in literally years, so I feel like that's a big deal, and we should say.
Yeah, I'm sure they could ruin that for you.
Well, talking zombies and stuff like that could ruin everything.
Well, let's stay tuned and we'll see. All right, guys, that's our thoughts on this episode of The Walking Dead. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.